What's going on, guys? Majin Obama here, and today, finally, the wait is over. My long-awaited Twilight film series review is here. So last month I took a trip to the United States to go check out Climax at Night, a tournament run by a good friend of mine, and also to check out my grandparents. And on the way there, you know, I hopped on the plane, was looking through the movies. I was like, man, I've seen most of the stuff on here. And then I remembered, hey, I saw a movie and it kind of made me remember I used to work in a movie theater. I worked quite a few big releases. Might have even worked a release of this series or two, but I never actually sat down and watched them. Kind of just heard stuff in the background. So I said, you know what? Let me see what all this hubbub was about. Let me see what this shit was really about. So I booted up the Twilight series. On the way to America, I watched the first 2.5 movies. Then on the way back, I watched the latter half, right? When I think about like young adult novels, like younger adult series, novels, stories, and that kind of thing, there's a lot that obviously appeal to like male fantasies, like whether it be like male power fantasies or male adventures. Or now that's not to say that they don't have these kinds of series that are catered to women. Obviously, you know, there's tons. You want to go like super throwback, the old head shit is like what Nancy Drew, the Babysitter's Club. I don't know. Really, the way I looked at it was like, man, this series, the idea of it, it's just like a young romantic novel twist on any random fantasy kind of story like that I would be familiar with or that I know, you know. So in that case, I'm like, look, man, it's just Inuyasha with a twist. It's just Tsukihime with a twist, right? I still kind of stand by that. However, there is a twist, and it's this is some goon shit, dog. This is some OG goonette shit for real, dog. Like it really to me highlights some differences between like what certain groups of women might desire, or like what their fantasy or what their adventure would be, what their power fantasy would be, and in a way that I don't really know what to say to be honest with you. Like, bruh, some of the shit that some of the characters in this movie get away with, I'm looking at this shit like, what the hell is going on here? Especially through the lens of 2024, I'm like, what is this dude doing in her room? Like, bro, what is going on here? It's a crazy series, man, and it goes some weird places. So when it comes to like the kind of fun favorite moments that I had, to be honest with you, most of them came from the first movie. The first movie, I felt like when you look back on the series, the first movie is kind of heavy in terms of like content and actually stuff that happens that's consequential sometimes. For some reason, why is she in this place? What are college kids doing in this Pacific Northwest? Where the hell are we anyway? Why are there just a bunch of dudes randomly waiting around to jump high school women? What the hell is that shit about? But I did like the way Edward rolled up in the whip, stepped out that bitch like he was about to do something, and just looked at that dude and got back in the car and drove the fuck away. That shit was tight. Also, the baseball game. We're gonna talk about it a little bit more in a bit, but I love the way they introduced the squad of three when they walk out the forest in the misty fog coming out the forest, and that brother with the dreads is leading the pack too. That shit was funny as fuck. I was just dying laughing watching that shit. Brother, I don't know if you guys realize this, but this shit is mad anime, bruh. And maybe not in the way that you think. Part 5. So, oh yeah, by the way, spoiler warning on this whole video. Casmer, put the spoiler warning at the beginning. Part 5, right? Bro, it felt like they introduced like 20 characters in 5 minutes, and like the lightest backstory. It felt like I was watching it felt like Bleach. Where did all these characters come from? They just pulled them out their ass, and there's like no minimal backstories on some of them. I was like, okay, cool. Yo, I will tell you something that did go hard. We got to talk about that Paramore song at the end of the first movie. Might have been the height of the music probably for the entire series. Wasn't expecting it. I was rocking with it though. Shout outs to them. Now I want to talk about the stuff that I thought was kind of weird, kind of funny, kind of weird. Sometimes not funny, just weird. But bruh, we got to talk about the first movie. The first movie is kind of like it's like slow pace, but it's very like narrow in scope, right? It's more just like a weird high school romance movie, I guess. So you could kind of like follow along with it pretty easily. Dog, there is a ton of creepy shit that dude was doing. This shit is like, bro, what is he doing? Watching her sleep? You barely know this girl. What are you doing? And then when she hits him with that shit the next day at school, you didn't tell me hi. Bro, she's into it. Come on now. That doesn't... Nah, come on, man. But even when they first meet, they're sitting down at the science lab. She says some shit to him, and then he just looks at her and stares at her like that, like right next to her on some serial killer shit. I'm not letting that slide, dog. No, we gotta call it what it is. That shit is scary as hell. Which brings me to my next thing, bruh. Her dad is a fucking deadbeat. What a fucking bum, bruh. Sit in the cuck chair and watch your daughter get dicked down by demons, vampires, and werewolves. Come on, what are we doing here, man? What are we doing? Charlie sucks. Pack it up. Terrible father figure. Oh yeah, when she okay, so part 1 and part 5, the beginning of part 5 are connected in this way. I really like when they do the powers montages or the powers, but the special effects, they really just take the opportunity to just bang on special effects. And in the first movie, it's funny because they had obviously like lower budget, or when she hops on the back and they start to run through the forest and they're doing like the Naruto like going fast shit. That shit had me rolling, bro. And it's even better in the 5th movie at the beginning like that. The baseball game, bruh. It's just another moment where they wanted to just bang on the special effects, and it's kind of like, it's very campy, cheesy, but I'm cool with it, you know, it is what it is. And of course that leads into the 3 antagonists walking out of the forest fog with the Lenny Kravitz looking ass dude in the front who has a face turn, still gets killed off screen, and his ex-girlfriend. Bruh, that's how you know this is still a horror movie. How the brother gonna be the first one to die? He turned good. He turned good, still murked. Make that shit make sense. The werewolf, why are the werewolves only wearing blue cutoff jeans and always shirtless, always blue denim cutoff jeans, and always, I get it, it's wolves, I get it, but it's, oh yeah, here's the thing. I remember back in the day, does anyone else remember the Burger King promotion when they were doing like Team Edward, Team Jacob? Everything was Team Edward, Team Jacob for a while. There was like a weird period in like 2010s, almost late 2000s. They were really pushing that Team Jacob, Team Edward stuff. That shit is a fucking lie. There is no Team Jacob. Jacob was cucked from jump. From jump. There was no Team Jacob. Dog, he's literally just macking on some dude's girl the entire time. Like, she don't even like him like that. He's friend zoned from jump. And the way he gets his revenge, this is where y'all messed up. How is, nah, see, no. See, if y'all gonna talk shit about Inuyasha, we gotta talk about this. Dog. First off, before I even get into this, as somebody who has some cousins with some, what would some people would say like ethnic names, black names with like prefixes like luz, quaz. These names often get looked down upon in society. We talk about this in black circles and black community pretty often, but it's like, how can we have that conversation? But Renesmee gets a pass. Dog, that is a hood ass name. I'm sorry. Like Renesmee is like a travesty of a name. That is, I'm just saying, the double standard has got to go, bruh. The way Jacob looked at Edward after that imprinting speech, and the way he had that shit-eating grin, saying it the whole time, that shit blew my fucking mind.
Look, it's a wolf thing.
What's a wolf thing?
How all of y'all sat in the movie theater and was just, bruh, popcorn in your mouth, you're just yucking it up to this shit. What the fuck? This dude is a menace. How is this okay? No, that's y'all's ass, bruh. Y'all all going to jail. This is messed up. I was not feeling that shit.
You imprinted on my daughter?
It wasn't my choice.
She's a baby!
It's not like that.
Y'all all on the watch list. The idea that in this series, I likened it to Bleach earlier, and that actually I think is pretty accurate, in more ways than one. And one reason why is because you hit a point where characters don't actually matter. Like the erotic fantasy aspect of it matters more than any character almost, outside of the core like 2 or 3. When they introduce like 20 something characters in like 5 minutes and you get like a very modest backstory, if that, even that's being generous for some of them. The first movie, because it was a little bit slower paced, kind of like a high school romance kind of vibe, it was a little bit easier to keep up with, and it felt like even though it wasn't crazy stuff happening in the plot, relatively, you could keep up, and it was still kind of like flowing in a way. But when you go from the second movie to the third movie, and real quick, the fact that there are 5 of these movies is insane. Second movie, third movie, if you ask me what happened, Edward busted. She had a baby. And she had, like, that's really all that happens. They introduced, like, the vampire Illuminati, I guess. But 4 movies after the first movie, those 4 movies, not that much happens, actually. Especially when you consider how the series ends, bruh. The last 30 minutes, the last hour of the movie, and it's like, oh yeah, that didn't actually happen. Nothing actually happened. Then they just walk off. Like, what the hell? Bruh, the whole movie was just nothing could happen. The last 4 movies of this series could have easily been 2 movies. And I'm being generous when I say it. Really, like 1.5. Yeah, Twilight overall, I'm not the target audience, obviously. It is what it is. But I watched it, got my yucks in. First movie on that plane was hitting. It was alright. It was pretty funny. When you watch it, just like, I'm watching it obviously just like for looking for something to just entertain me, right? And it was pretty funny. But then once it started to get real weird, I don't know, man. I'm looking at the fan base. I'm looking at y'all who are talking about, oh, yeah. Look, I had somebody I know who's like, yo, it's not that bad if you don't take it too seriously. It's alright. It's funny, right? I don't know about that one. I don't know about that one. But Twilight fans, y'all gotta let me know. Y'all got a favorite character? Am I being unfair, or am I being brutally honest? Am I being real with it? Y'all gotta let me know what y'all think in the comments below. With all due respect to my ladies out there, I just don't. I'm not seeing the vision entirely. But I'm gonna leave it alone. Here's the thing. If y'all are willing to leave Tsukihime, and if y'all are willing to leave Inuyasha alone, I'll leave Twilight alone. I'm gonna walk away. I am gonna look at y'all weird though, and I am gonna try to protect my family from y'all. All I can say is I would assume y'all are on some kind of list, to be honest with you, but I'll leave Twilight alone. If I was gonna score it, it would not be favorable, but we're gonna, it's just like the end of the 5th movie. I'm just gonna walk away, pretend nothing happened. Anyway, catch you guys next time. Everybody be easy. Take your passion with you wherever you are. On the job, on the go, on the grind, or wherever the next challenge awaits. Head to merch.tenno.gg to get your favorite FGC apparel on sale for Black Friday this November 29th to December 2nd. Sign up for our newsletter for early access.